Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to do some pruning on our fruit trees, namely our peach tree and maybe our apple tree. So I want to go out there today and get this done because it's about the time to do that. It's about middle of December. It's cold. It's the dormant season. So now is when you need to be out there pruning your fruit trees if you want your fruit trees to perform at the maximum production. So that's what we're going to do. So Sensei Tools was kind enough to give us two of these new they're pruning shears, and so we have a brand. These are awesome. I mean, they're just very ergonomic when it comes to the grip. I think they're even adjustable. There's adjustments here you can make. You can take this apart. You can oil it. They say it's a very high carbon steel or very hard carbon steel, and the spring on it is no joke. I mean, there's just a really amazing spring on here that is just. I mean, it's just something to behold. You really can't tell until you just hold these in your hand to see the quality. So really good quality with these, and totally puts to shame the old Fiskas that we have. And I mean, look how big these open up compared to the Fiskas. So I mean, just night and day. You can really get around something with this stuff too, with these shears. This is another one we use sometimes if I need it. It's we mostly use this for like trimming the hooves of the sheep, sometimes things around here are dual purpose, but that's mostly we use that. But I have used this for pruning things off and on sometimes when I need to. Usually when these get misplaced by myself or the children, because I'm very well known around the homestead for not putting things back where they belong. So when that happens, I go get these until I find these again somewhere. So, but now we have another pair of pruning shears on the homestead, the Sensei Tools pruning shears, and we have a second pair to be given away to one of our patrons. It says turn over for special invitation. And you can join their VIP club and get more discounts. So this is going to go to one of our patrons, and I'm going to be giving this away soon in an upcoming video. So you have to join our page over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. Link in the description below to find out when that is going to be. Okay, so let's go prune a peach tree. So here's the peach tree. I've been keeping this in my garden for the last couple of years, and it's done phenomenal. After it was about 2 years old, I started pruning it, and I think people I know people get really scared about pruning their fruit trees because they're scared they're going to kill it. And the only way you can go wrong with pruning your fruit trees is to not do it at all. I mean, that's like the bottom line. And you got to remember, when it comes to pruning trees, it's an art and not a science, okay? So you're gonna maybe do some things differently than the next guy. This is not that big a deal. But again, the way you go wrong with pruning is by not doing it at all. So keep that in mind. And there are some other basic rules you can understand. The first thing is understanding open center and central leader. And so open center is what I choose to do for this peach tree. I have seen people do center leader for peach trees, but in fact, the guy who gave me this peach tree does that. But I read online, and it just seems from experience, which a little bit that I have, that an open center is better for peach trees. So you have open center and central leader. Those are the two types of pruning, the way you prune trees. And open center, like this one, is to make the tree more like a bowl. So imagine a bowl with all the branches on the outside of the bowl so that sunlight can get into the middle of the tree and make that tree grow. So that's open center. And as you can see from my tree, there's a whole bunch of stuff growing up in the center, new growth that has to be cut out this year. So that's what we're going to do with these today. The Sensei hand shears and these Blue Hawk pruners. So what else? So yeah, really you can't go wrong with pruning unless you don't do it. A couple simple rules are easy to remember. If a branch crosses over another branch, pick one that you want to keep and then cut off the other one. If a branch at any time touches another branch, pick one you want to keep and cut out the other one. That's really kind of it. I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, there's more specifics you can get into, but again, this isn't really that big a deal. Most people I see are just afraid to prune their trees at all because they're scared they're going to kill them. And really, it seems like every time I've pruned my trees, I prune them back very hard, and every year the growth has just exploded. Okay, it exploded. The tree wants you to prune it. It's like getting a haircut. If you don't get a haircut, you're going to look like a moron. at some point, right? So there was one guy I saw with a peach tree. One other thing that I do with mine is I top mine. Okay, I keep mine, I don't want mine getting too tall. One guy went over to his place and he had a peach tree, I don't know, like, I mean, it would need a 20-foot ladder to get to the top. I mean, I went over to one time and it's loaded with fruit, and there's fruit everywhere on this peach tree. And I'm like, how are you gonna get to it? I'm like, dude, your peach tree is like crazy tall. You need a 20-foot ladder to get to the fruit, or just wait till it falls on the ground. So we have visited a peach orchard not far from here a couple times. We've done videos on it. It's called the Peach Picking Paradise, and they top theirs pretty hard. Okay, they keep their trees short so that people, when they come through to pick the fruit, they can reach the fruit. And this is your peach tree. You want to harvest fruit from it. So do you want to climb a ladder to get to all the fruit, or you just want to walk by and be able to reach up and pick the fruit? The answer should be obvious. So I cut mine pretty hard at the top so that I can keep mine at a height that I can manage and reach up and grab the fruit from it. So we're going to start cutting some of these limbs. I'll show you which ones I'm going to start cutting. Okay, you can see right there, that center, that brown center stem, that's going. All these little red ones, they're coming from the base, those are getting cut out. Anything that comes into, remember, this tree is supposed to be a bull, okay? And so you can see the main trunk there, the main trunk here, and there was some damage that this was totally my fault. You can see a piece of 550 cord hanging right there. I had wrapped around the tree and I forgot about it, and it just scarred over. It's totally fine. The tree's gonna be fine. The leaves this year on this side of the tree were perfectly green and fine, but it did scar over a little bit. But you can see the main trunks. So you can see these trunks coming out over here, and you can see the trunks coming out over there and in the back. And so it's kind of like a bowl. I'm trying to keep it like a bowl, with the branches going out. Anything coming in the center is getting cut out. Anything that comes on the outside of the bowl going this way and then is growing back this way gets cut out. Yeah, that's basically it. It's really simple. So let me get started and start cutting some of this stuff out. So there's a number of branches here that I'm going to take out. This one is going in towards the tree and towards the bowl of the tree, so that one will go. This one's going up the middle of the tree, so that one will go. This one's going in towards the bowl. That one will go. That one will go. In fact, I'm going to take this whole thing off right here. I'll leave that nub. It's okay. I don't know if I can cut that well enough with these. This one here is going towards the center of the bowl. That one will go. Off it goes. Now you see this branch right here, it's coming off here and then going right up between all these other branches. And I kind of like these other branches up here. This one just isn't going where it needs to be. It's crossing over a number of other branches. In fact, when the leaves come in, they'll all be touching, and so that's no good. So off it goes. Out of the way. And this one here's interrupting this branch. That's going to go away. This one's crossing. This one here is going to be in danger of crossing these other ones, so I have to make a decision on which ones I want to keep. I think I'm going to keep. In fact, I'm going to get rid of both of them on this one. Get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of that one, and then I'm going to get rid of this one. See how it kind of opens that up? That's what you want. Airflow, airflow. In fact, these two here are going to touch at some point, so I'm going to get rid of both of those actually. Cut that one and that one. So again, this is all just real simple. I mean, any branch that crosses over another branch, you have to make a decision on which one stays, which one goes. This one's crossing over this one here, so it's going. This is crossing over a bunch of them. It's going to go. This one's crossing over. Get that out of the way. Get rid of this little one. But any branch that crosses over another branch, get rid of it. Any dead branches, like this is a dead branch here, cut that. This is a dead branch here, cut that. And just work your way around the tree. Now here's a real good example. You have a branch that's growing out of the tree, and you have all these branches that are basically going back into the tree. This is going back into the tree, this is going back into the tree, this is going back into the tree. All these branches are going into the tree. All those have to go. Now, I think this is kind of blurry on camera, but you can see this is a really good example of something that has to go. These branches here are way too close together. So what you're going to do is just going to cut this middle one out, and that's going to open up a whole big space. So these two branches, the top and the bottom, can breathe. So I'm going to cut this one out, and then that'll just open that whole area up. Let's see if these Sensei can do it. Do it, Sensei. There we go. That was a little tough for the Sensei. Get rid of that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. That opens that whole thing up. Get rid of that guy. Get rid of this one. Now, can you see the difference? Big difference. Dude, look at that. I totally broke my loppers. The blade broke right off in that branch. You know, the big loppers I had, the Blue Hawks, the blade just snapped going into that branch. That's just crazy. Yeah, I just snapped the blade right off. Well, I've got another pair of loppers. They're not near as sharp, but like you always say, 2 is 1, 1 is none. We'll go ahead and keep going. Okay, so I'm getting pretty close to where I want to be. I've got maybe a little more trimming to do on some of the top branches, thin some of those out a little bit more, but I've got the height down where I want it. I can almost reach all of the top branches, almost. So that's good. I mean, I want to be able to at least reach most of the top of the tree, because when it produces fruit, if you have a 20-foot tall tree, well, what good is it? So I keep it, you know, trimmed down pretty good. It's topped off for the most part. So again, you gotta make sure you don't, you know, take on that mentality that I'm gonna hurt the tree. The worst way you can hurt this tree is to not do any pruning at all. Your fruit will end up being smaller, and it just won't be a lot of it. You know, so with this, I may get less fruit, but it's gonna be bigger fruit, it's gonna be healthier fruit, and you're gonna have a healthier tree. So that's what you wanna do. And so what really, you know, burns my britches is that I have all these cuttings laying around, and last year I tried to root a bunch of them and none of them took. And I had this one guy leave a comment, I think a couple years ago, on a tree video I did, and he says he prunes his peach tree every year and just throws the cuttings into the woods. And what do you know, like half of them take root. I'm like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. So I got all these cuttings around. Maybe I'll try to root some of them. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I have other ways I can take cuttings in the summertime. I have those root balls that you can put on the tree branches, and they'll root inside the ball. So I'll try that. I want to clone this tree as much as I can at some point. And but this is getting to be a very healthy tree. It's in its 5th year. It's 5 years old. So this year, hopefully, this coming summer, we will have some peaches on it. And we'll be able to eat peaches. Now, the big thing that's stopped this from producing fruit in the past, and it produces some here and there, but mostly the late spring freezes kill the fruit on this tree. So it is what it is. But all right, so you can kind of see a difference, right? I mean, it's opened up a lot more. Opened up a lot more. All right, I'm gonna keep doing this. Stop filming so I can get to work, and I'll see you next time on the homestead.